Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about Sundancing by Brian Keene. This is from Manhattan on Mars Press. I believe it's the first book from Manhattan on Mars Press, which is Brian Keene's new publishing venture. He's going to publish his stuff and republish stuff through Manhattan on Mars Press. This little tiny slip of a book is, as it says on the back, a meta-fictional memoir. And it is basically the bulk of it is about Brian Keene's trip to the Sundance Film Festival for the premiere of the movie Ghoul. So it starts off, of course, this is in first person. Brian Keene is telling his own story. I think, and it says metafictional, I think some names have been changed. I don't know about events or anything, but it starts off with Brian Keene talking a little bit about himself and sort of the dire straits that he found himself in with the collapse of leisure books, and then how he was saved by Ghoul being made into a movie. First being optioned, then being made. It was made for TV for Sci-Fi had a horror channel that they changed the name of it to Clue, and I cannot remember at this moment what it was originally called. It was something like Creepy or Eerie. No, those are comic books, magazines. But something like that. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, it was a channel that I watched because it was the Sci-Fi Channel's horror channel. So it was all horror themed TV shows, horror movies, and they started making original content. Ghoul, Brian Keene's coming of age novel, was one of those things. And so Brian Keene got invited to the Sundance Film Festival where Ghoul was going to premiere. He was allowed to bring 5 or 6 people. Mary Sangiovanni is one of them, and then other people whose names I'm not going to look up, but other friends of his. This is, I think, early days of his and Mary's relationship. But then it tells the tale of getting to the convention and the blizzard, and some of them not getting to the convention, but eventually getting to the convention, and things that the mingling with people, and Brian Keene's dealings with studio execs and all this sort of stuff. And I'm a huge Brian Keene fan, and I like his writing style, whether it's his fiction or his nonfiction. So I enjoyed this very much. I believe I gave it 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. It's an interesting story. I don't know if it's gonna like change your if you're a Brian Keene fan, you're still gonna be a Brian Keene fan. You're gonna like this. If you're not a Brian Keene fan and you give this a chance, I don't know that it's gonna change your opinion at all. And it says on the back, hailed by critics as simultaneously heartbreaking and heartwarming. And one of the things that I took from it was just it almost felt like a love letter to Mary Sangiovanni, just and his friends, but just especially if this was early days of their relationship, it's nice to see the two of them together, the two of them in love. Um, and then I felt a little melancholy because there's a lot of just Brian Keene hanging out with Mary, hanging out with their friends. You know, after the festivities are done, they're in the hotel room or they're in a restaurant or a bar, and they're just hanging out and they're talking and into the night. And smoking cigars, not my thing, but although um, I used to do that a lot back in the day. I had friends that I could hang out with, and we'd stay up all night and just hang out and talk about anything and everything. Have not done that in ages. So it's a little melancholy for that. But overall, it's a well written, interesting story slash memoir, meta-fictional memoir, with love and heart and a little badassness. If you're interested in, well, I mean, it doesn't. It's not a. It doesn't go into super detail about like how Sundance is run and everything. It's about his experience at this particular Sundance festival. So, I don't think you're going to learn much about the film industry. A little bit about the film industry, but again, his personal dealings with the film industry. Um, I don't really, there's no plot to talk about, so it's well written. It's definitely well written. I think it's very interesting. Uh, I don't think it's going to change your opinion one way or the other about Brian Keene. I think those are the salient points that I have to discuss. Wow, that's really reflective. So, yeah, that's it. That's Sundancing by Brian Keene. 4 out of 5 stars. I recommend it. Give it a chance. A little piece of nonfiction with a couple changes, some names, I think. But there you go. I don't really have a question for this video. I guess basically, is this the kind of book that interests you? A little tiny memoir, like a slice of life memoir, as opposed to one that covers a bunch of stuff. This covers a very specific time and place. Is that the kind of book that you're interested in? Have you read any memoirs? What's your favorite memoir? There's a bunch of questions that you can answer down in the comments below. And if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. All the usual YouTube stuff. If you'd care to follow me on other social media, as of this recording, I am still on Twitter, where I am at Ronin5757. On Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals. I'm Eric Smith 5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH 5757. That's all I have. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I've been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.